everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready to explore.
Great. So today we're tackling a guide all about learning English. And let me tell you, this one's packed with tips and tricks.
Sounds like a good one. Where do we even begin with something as big as learning a whole new language?
Well, this guide starts off strong. It's all about laying those foundations, those crucial building blocks.
Basics, right.
Exactly, grammar and vocabulary. But it's not just about memorizing a bunch of rules and words. It's about understanding how they work together.
Kind of like, well, think of it like building a house. You need strong bricks, right, and a solid framework.
Ooh, I like that. So the bricks would be our vocabulary.
Yep, those individual words. And the framework, well, that's our grammar, holding it all together.
Okay, that makes total sense.
Ah.
Now, the guide mentions flashcards as a classic way to build vocab, but it also talks about apps. Have you come across any good ones?
Oh, there are tons out there. But one that consistently gets good reviews is Anki. It's all about spaced repetition.
Spaced repetition. Now, that sounds interesting. Tell me more.
So basically, it's a system that helps you remember things better. Like you review information at different intervals, so you're constantly challenging your memory.
So it's not just cramming everything in at once and hoping it sticks.
Nope. It's more about like strategically reminding your brain about what you've learned.
Makes sense. All right, so we've got our foundations in place. What's next?
Well, the guide doesn't waste any time. It jumps right into speaking practice. And the advice is to start from day one.
Even if you're feeling a little, well, shy. I know I've been there.
Oh, absolutely. It's completely normal to feel a bit self-conscious when you're first starting out, but the key is to just jump in.
Easier said than done sometimes, right?
Definitely. And that's why the guide recommends finding language partners, people you can practice with, even just for casual conversations.
Yeah, those real-life interactions are so important. I remember reading somewhere that speaking a language actually activates different parts of the brain than just listening or reading.
Oh, for sure. It's way more dynamic. You're actively recalling information, figuring things out on the spot. It's like a mental workout.
Okay, so we've covered building blocks and the importance of speaking. What else does this guide highlight?
Well, it dives into listening. It talks about immersing yourself in English through different things like music, podcasts, even videos.
Oh, I love that. It's like surrounding yourself with the language.
Exactly. And the guide specifically recommends BBC Learning English and Voice of America. They've got great resources for language learners.
I've heard of those. They offer really clear and concise content, right?
Yep. Perfect for learning. And you know what else they suggest? Starting with cartoons or children's shows.
No, that might sound a bit silly.
But think about it. The language is simple, the visuals are engaging, and it's actually fun to watch.
Okay, I'm sold. Cartoons it is. What comes after listening?
Well, next up is reading. And the advice here is to start with easier materials, like maybe easy English books or graded readers.
Right, you don't want to jump into Shakespeare right away.
Yeah, exactly. And there are some great websites out there that offer simplified news articles. One that comes to mind is News in Levels.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that one. You can choose your reading level and stay updated on current events. That's a win-win.
Totally. And the cool thing about reading is that it exposes you to different writing styles.
Which can be really helpful when it comes to improving your own writing, right?
Exactly. And speaking of writing, the guide encourages making it a daily habit, even just jotting down a few sentences in a journal.
I actually know a few writers who do that. It helps them warm up their writing muscles.
It's a great way to practice putting your thoughts into English.
Okay, so we've talked about the more traditional methods. What about the digital side of things?
Well, the guide definitely doesn't shy away from technology. It's got a whole section on language learning apps.
We talked about Anki earlier. Any other apps you think are worth a shout out?
One that I've found pretty impressive is Babbel. It's really focused on conversational skills and those real-life situations you might find yourself in.
Well, that sounds practical.
It is, and it even uses speech recognition to help with pronunciation.
Ooh, fancy. I love how technology can really personalize the learning experience. All right, what else is up next?
The guide wraps up with a really important point. It's all about community and finding ways to connect with other learners.
Makes sense. Learning a language can sometimes feel like a solo mission, but it doesn't have to be.
Exactly. The guide recommends checking out online forums or language exchange platforms.
Yeah, those can be great for finding support and motivation. And let's not forget about the fun stuff. The guide mentions word games like Scrabble and Wordle.
Oh yeah, those are classics. It's amazing how something as simple as a game can help you learn new words.
And it keeps things engaging, which is so important. But I think one of the biggest takeaways from this guide is the emphasis on consistency.
Couldn't agree more. It's about those small, regular efforts, even if it's just 15 minutes a day.
Way more effective than trying to cram everything in once a week.
Totally. It's about making language learning a part of your daily routine. And finally, the guide leaves us with a really positive message. It's okay to make mistakes.
In fact, it's encouraged. Mistakes are proof that you're learning and trying new things.
There are opportunities to grow.
So true. Well, it sounds like we've covered a lot of ground today. We talked about building those essential foundations with grammar and vocabulary, the power of speaking from day one, immersing yourself in the language through listening and reading, leveraging technology and community, and of course, staying consistent and positive throughout the journey.
It's a holistic approach, and I think that's what makes this guide so valuable. It shows that learning a language is a multifaceted process.
And it can open up so many doors. So as you embark on your own English learning adventure, what aspect are you most excited to dive into first?
Think about it and let us know.
Until next time.